Hi, Tanner, alcoholic. um, I have 15 minutes. Yeah, that's what you said. Cool. Um, Thank you for asking me to speak, Ken. I really appreciate it. I sort of will never pass down an opportunity to speak or be of service at an AA meeting because this program, AA saved my life fully in a medical sense, in a spiritual sense, in so many ways that I can't even begin to give back the service that this program's given to me. And I will forever be the hugest cheerleader of uh, AA. So I'm always down to speak. I'll just sort of, the normals. I have a sponsor and he has a sponsor and he has a sponsor. I have a sponsee, blah, 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 all that jazz. The qualification, Joyce. Just a little bit. I don't want to obviously go into this like massive drunkalog, so I'm just going to give you a little bit of a qualification. I grew up in an incredibly Catholic background, sort of always having that inherently different feeling without really knowing why I was different. Much further down my path, I discovered it was multiple things, and like, which will kind of play into my story a little bit. But I grew up Catholic, and I think I grew up in like the very much let's sweep everything under the rug and make everything look really good on the surface. But deep down, there's like a lot of trauma and a lot of problems within the family and addictions that were hidden and a lot of that. But I spent the majority of my life being told to like appear good, that my family wanted the families on the street to think everything was okay. Um, my father is an addict. My brothers aren't addicts. I've been around it my whole life. To fast forward, I guess I grew up Catholic. I kind of had this large problem with God for many, many years coming into this, trying to get into this program and trying to get sober. That word was really hard for me, which luckily has left. But a lot of it, I think, stems back to that. When I was 16, I ran away from home. I moved to LA. I came to LA sort of like on a whim. I was kind of figuring out who I was, discovering, doing what a 16-year-old living on their own in a big city would do. I got a fake ID. I came out of the closet and it sort of just hit the ground running. My inherent different that I was talking about before ended up being that I was queer, which was like a huge part of something that I tried to suppress growing up Catholic. It was something that like I still work on every day. That's like a constant practice that I have to keep working at, because I was sort of, I don't know, a lot of people can probably relate to this. Growing up being told that you're wrong your whole life, it's sort of just like, you know, fucks with your brain a little. Um, got here, was in LA for a while, and then I decided to move to New York, and that was sort of when things got really bad, was when I got to New York. I spent 11 years in New York, having the lack of responsibility in New York of having a car, the 4 a.m., the constant partying. It was just like, it definitely was where my disease took off the most. I was a hairdresser, so I lived like, and I worked for like I owned a salon in Tribeca. I did a bunch of sort of like quote unquote like musician, rock and roll artist, Lower East Side kids hair, and I sort of ran around with that crowd, and there was a lot of alcohol. I'm very much a true blue alcoholic in that sense. There's some other stuff in my story, but like alcohol brought me to my knees. Alcohol was my problem. Alcohol will always be my problem. Um, so I was in New York. I opened a salon. I kind of had everything. I had a husband. I had this business. I had, this life that I really thought that I was going to live forever. I ended up developing an allergy to hair color, which sort of was my threw my wrench into my plan. And that's sort of when my drinking escalated. Was the wake up in the morning and drink tequila. I went to bed drinking. It was all day, every day. Um, Fast forward a few years, the husband left, the business went out of business, and the only thing I was doing was drinking. That was my only concern in life, was how I was going to get drunk. Speeding it up a little, I ended up moving back to LA on a whim. I somehow got a random job that I have still to this day, by the grace of God. I did not lose during all my drinking. Um, and then when I came to LA, it got really bad. It was you know, the depression of drinking, mainly the depression of it was what really truly brought me to my knees. I woke up one day and I was like, I'm so tired of feeling like shit. Um, and I had a friend that was in the rooms. She was one of my closest friends in Los Angeles. And I sort of was just like, how did you do it? And that sort of got my ball rolling. I went to my first meeting in Los Angeles. I had dabbled in and out in New York. I would go to a meeting, leave, go to a meeting, leave. It was like this very in and out for probably 5 years. And then when I got here, I went to a meeting at the AT Center, which is like a predominantly queer space in Silver Lake. And that was sort of where like everything started clicking in my head. I was like meeting people that were my age and were sober, and it was not this idea of what I thought it was. I think a lot of us come into the rooms with this perception that AA is like a room full of old men smoking cigarettes, which like I'm down with too now. But at the time I was like not trying to do that. Fast forward now, I just to where I'm at now. I just completed my steps, which was truly life changing for me. I was talking about this with a fellow this morning. Like, the biggest change that I've seen within myself is that when I was drinking and I was out using, I obviously was selfish and I didn't care about anyone but myself. But the biggest part of it was that I was mean. Um, I was really mean to myself and to other people around me. And since getting sober, the number one thing that I can say that has been the biggest shift for me is that I try to lead my life with kindness. I try to do everything I can to be a really kind human. I heard pretty early on in my sobriety, someone said, like, I remember she was a speaker in a meeting and she opened her share with, I want to be the reason people believe in good people. And that's something that stuck with me through all of this, and is something that I tell myself every day when I wake up. I really try to remember that I want to be the reason that people believe in good people, because that's why we get sober. I got sober because, one, my body was giving out, but two, I was like so spiritually bankrupt from being such a piece of shit, and I just really think that that's been my gift of all of this, is that I can be kind, I can be of service, um, I can show up for people in ways that I had no idea I was capable of showing up in. Um, I have friends. I never had friends. Which is so kind of funny for me to say, and it makes me laugh because I complain now in sobriety that my phone's constantly ringing. I was just on the phone before this meeting with my best friend in New York, and she's sober, and I was like, this sucks. I've been on the phone since 10 a.m. because everyone's calling me. And she's like, are you really bitching that people are calling you? Like, literally 2 years ago, not a single person wanted to call you because you literally were just hammered all the time and causing chaos, and no one wanted you in your life. And now you've spent 8 hours on the phone helping other people. And I think that's so true, and such a gift of this program is that we have the capability to form real relationships. The people I have met in Alcoholics Anonymous are my closest friends. I can tell them anything. I can go into a room and tell you guys the wildest, craziest story, and not a single person will judge me. Um, I always love that, like, anything I say, you probably have done, if not worse. And I think that that is one of, the relationships we form in here are just unparalleled to anything else I've ever experienced. That has definitely been the biggest gift for me. My life became so big in the last year. I live with a fellow. I have all these things. I have, I pay my rent on time. That's wild. I drive a vehicle. Like, that's just wild. Like, there's so many things. Like, which are normal things that I should have really, but I can have all those things, and I'm so blessed to have them. Um, and I think that that is been my best thing, is seeing, when you start to do the work, you can really start to see the when you do the work, you start to see the gifts of it, right? That's what the promises are saying to us. And what else can I give you? The big parts, definitely, like, a huge part of me being sober now is sort of, especially working through a morning practice, is something that's been a huge, huge shift in my perspective, and something that obviously I didn't get until a little further in. But I wake up every day and I meditate, and I text a gratitude list to someone in this, people in these rooms or people that I know. And I think that that's sort of my biggest thing, is getting up every day and making sure that I'm thankful before I'm hateful, because I will be hateful really fast. So I just have to get to that. Like, I have to be like, I wake up instantly, and the first thing out of my mouth always is, thank you, God, for everything that I have. Because if I didn't have that instant switch in my brain, I will get off on the wrong foot. I pray for compassion every day for myself. I think that that's a huge part of my program. I have prayed to find compassion. If I don't have compassion, this whole thing doesn't work. If I don't have compassion for myself, if I don't have compassion for others, um, I think that that's probably one of my bigger things that I try to do every day. Um, I don't know. I think I'm kind of coming up on 15 minutes. I have I say the Desiderata prayer every day, or a poem, which I will also just close out with. And I think it's my favorite prayer. And then I will look forward to hearing from all of you guys. Go placidly amid the noise and haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible, without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others, even to the dull and ignorant. They too have their story. Avoid loud and aggressive persons. They are vexatious to the spirit. If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain or bitter, for always there will be greater and lesser persons than yourself. Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Keep interested in your own career, however humble. It is a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery. But let this not blind you to what virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideals, and everywhere life is full of heroism. Be yourself, especially do not feign affection, neither be cynical about love, for in the face of all aridity and disenchantment, it is as perennial as the grass. Take kindly the counsel of years, gracefully surrendering the things of youth. Nurture strength of spirit to shield you in sudden misfortune, but do not distress yourself with dark imaginings. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. And whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore, be at peace with God, whatever you conceive them to be. And whatever your labors and aspirations in the noisy confusion of life, keep peace in your soul. With all its sham, drudgery, and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be cheerful and strive to be happy. Thank you again for letting me share and for keeping me sober one more day. I love each and every one of you, even if I do not know you. And thank you so much.